I don't even know if this is going to work, but I've got the parts, and I think it's going to work. And I'm going to challenge myself to build a remote hi-hat using a hi-hat, the brake cables, which I have conveniently disassembled from the bike. Here's the other one that's still installed. And yeah, we're going to build this thing. Check it out. I don't know, will this stand up by itself? Probably not. So I want it to stand up by itself, but really all I need is this armature here, and then kind of maybe up to here. So maybe I'll use this part for the remote, the section that's disassembled from the other, and I'll just chop those. Okay, after a little bit of minor modification to my drum, by the way, this is the bass drum for my pancake set. It is just over, I think, 8 inches wide. It's got a great sound though. All the toms are shortened and stuff. So I made a minor modification so that the 3/4 inch bar from this would fit into this nice little hole here. This thing is now 2 separate pieces. I've got my nicely fixed and sanded foot pedal, and then the footboard, and then this is going to go right into that bass drum. Okay, so this is how it's usually set up. We got the foot pedal, and as this comes down, there's a little spring inside. So we'll keep the spring, or spring tension somehow, and as this comes down and up, right, instead of having a rod, it will get replaced by some kind of armature set up to the bike cable. We're going to thread the needle, trying to go straight into that hole with this threaded thing. Oh, it went right through. Ha! Nice. So I went rooting through, and I found a nut and bolt that just happened to be the same threading as this little guy right here. And then we'll attach that guy to this guy. Get that fully threaded, we're gonna have to spin the entire. So now with a little tension applied, it's going to tap down. So we need to put something here that will apply the tension. So the trick is we need to create pressure on both sides so that if it pulls from one side, or if it pulls from the other, then it will still go. So we need to attach, look at that pull, that's cool. So we need to attach it to both sides. I figured the best way to attach it on the pole side, calling that the pole side, I just wrapped it. I cut the original pole in half. Luckily it had kind of a rivet, and I just put it through the rivet. And with like a spring, a tiny spring I used as almost a keychain. The first time I did this, it didn't want to, it would pull, but it wouldn't push. Now I know you don't really push, but it would kind of slide against itself. So I ended up just wrapping it and you know, making a closed loop on that side. Each of the sides has one of these pieces that's a bike. It goes right into a bike. This thing just kind of pockets right against that, so I'm going to either epoxy that or hot glue it or something just to put that in place. These glue joints are still tacky. I found that I couldn't just let them go, or else they would pull apart from each other if I tried to pull from one end or the other. So that didn't work. I had to glue it here and here and then this side is just going to go drop right into this hole. Okay, so I've reached a little bit of a dead end. As you can see, lots of things are like glued together, but the wire on the inside is still free flowing, which is awesome. The problem is in my the cable. Number one, the cable is too short. Perhaps I should have measured it a little better. We're like in the drum. This is supposed to go like up and held in place, just like this, right? And then on this side, right, that is broken, but never mind that. And then on this side, right, it pulls, but when it pulls, I had a spring in between those two, and one spring was not strong enough and the other spring was too long, so it would pull, but then it would kind of yoink this thing around. And I thought, you know, man, if I just have a better cable to do this with, a longer cable, then I wouldn't have to reach it around like this. Just the cable is just plain too short. So anyway, I'm not going to give up on this project. I have it set up more or less ish. This wouldn't work. I would need a much longer cable to actually put it in a comfortable position for a left foot. But here's basically how it works. This is this one to get pulled down, and it would make those clack together. So maybe I'll see a part 2 of this video where it actually functions. I'd love to get another cable that is the right length and such, and maybe a better hi-hat stand. The cheapest one on Amazon is about $100, $104 I believe, from Gibraltar, I think. It may just be worth it just to buy it, but you know, I'm a DIY kind of guy, so I like to build things if I can. It certainly wouldn't look as ghetto as this does with all of its glue and yuckiness. But yeah, if I do end up making another video, I'll keep you posted on it. I think this looks cool, and I love the idea of it coming up out of the bass drum like this. But yeah, it's just the concept is not fully realized yet.